The Bitcoin halving has now occurred, and we're not going to talk about it at all in this video. We're actually going to save that for tomorrow's video, a big video probably on that to come. But today's video is going to be on the next most simplistic trading strategy, which I wanted to answer the question of, does this actually work? Does the data support this? And the most interesting thing about this is that, well, we have full data on this, as well as it is about to fire off a signal in the next few days here. And without further ado, you probably already know where I'm going with this one, and it is the damn moons. It's those damn moons, those astrologers. I don't know, maybe they have something in their back pocket, because if you look at the full history of Bitcoin right here, these would be the returns if you literally just bought when there was a full moon and sold when there was a new moon. I think that's how it goes. Maybe it's opposite than that. I don't fucking know. I don't really care. But the bull moon and the bear moon, basically. And in this case, yes, it has been just better than a 55.5% probability for this to work out, but the returns, however, have been astronomically in favor of, well, profit. I mean, yes, there's been some nasty drawdowns here as well, but this is just blindly longing when that happens. No other things included at all. If we were to start to make the criteria maybe a little bit more, stringent, then, well, we can maybe make these results even better. But why I'm even talking about this, why is this relevant? Well, maybe it's not relevant at all, although statistics are statistics. And what's the saying? There's lies, damn lies, and statistics. And look, to my fucking brain, this sounds so silly, but it is what it is. Anyways, the next full moon, so it is a full moon, is the 24th of April. That is Dubai time right now. So, you know, if you're in the sort of maybe Western world, then you're probably looking at, I suppose, the 23rd of April coming up is going to be the next one, the next full moon, that is. So in this case, that would be Tuesday/Wednesday-ish. And what I can do now is I can actually go over here on the Krown Quant skeleton key, and, well, I can start to play around with these inputs a little bit and see if we can improve those results. First, I do happen to know that if we get rid of Monday and Thursday, these results might improve a bit here. By the way, these numbers are simulated. With a base position size of, I think, 500,000. So again, the number, the percentages are going to be, what's important here, the profit factor and all that good stuff. But of course, these numbers like net profit, that's not going to be relevant, or you can't actually see it right now, but it's not going to be relevant if you're not trading that amount. Anyways, we can see already we've improved the win rate a decent amount, all the way up to 59%, with a profit factor of over 3.5. And the net profit has gone up a little bit as well here, and the max drawdown actually got reduced, more importantly. If I go into the performance summary, we can see very, very quickly, if I remove my face, that the average winning trade returned 24.5%. Not bad. Not bad at all, I'd say. The average losing trade lost 10%. So that is a winning setup, especially when you have an almost 60% strike rate. The largest winning trade was fucking massive. I'm guessing this was in the early days of Bitcoin at 254%. And the largest losing trade was 33.5%. Probably same thing going on there as well early on in Bitcoin's history. So yeah, this is essentially a trade that will always take 15 days. I mean, it does take 15 days from, one moon to the next, I suppose. And again, it's going to be firing off in just a couple days here. But let's just see if we were to only look at the moon signals for, I suppose in this case, because I am using GMT -7 here, that if we only looked at Tuesday's signals, because that's when it would be for this time zone. And let's see what that would return. I actually don't know. I haven't done this one yet. And even better. In fact, this is actually, I would say, very good. 69.5%, great number right there. 4.5 profit factor, or even above that. Max drawdown has moved down significantly, about a tenth of the net profit percentage. And if we go over here to the performance summary, again, some pretty amazing numbers. On average, the winning trades returning 25.5% and losing about just under 13%. So, again, this is one of those times where I have to humble myself and ask myself a few questions. One, does this work? I mean, well, if you don't define that as working, I don't know what you define as working. That's just, I don't know what else to say. It's like, what else do you say to that? And two, would I have been more profitable trading this way? Well, I mean, this is a daily strategy. It doesn't fire off all that often, so there is that to be aware of course. So it's not like super active, but could I trade better than that? I mean, even with my best strategies, they're batting around like low 70% strike rate, but that doesn't mean anything without a high profit factor. This one has a very high profit factor at 4.5%. So when I look at it, it's quite damning to my ego is what it is. And I actually have met people in the past who were professional traders who only used, I mean, I shouldn't say people, I met two people who only used like astrology type shit. This was like, must be like 10 years ago now, when I was actually trading in a professional manner. And they like, that's just what they did. And they were very successful. And I mean, I think that they're doing more intensive stuff than just looking at the damn moons. But even just this, it is very strange. It is very strange. Anyways, so let's put these numbers into action now. So let's say that on this next bull moon, the fucking full moon, whatever the hell, bull and full. Oh, that's how I can remember it. Bull and full. It rhymes. Anyways, that's going to be on, again, Tuesday as far as this chart's timing is concerned. And if we do see the statistics play out in favor of what is more likely, which is 69.5% strike rate for, in this case, a positively closed trade, what would be the average amount returned would be 25%. Yeah, back on over here. And the average loss about 13%. So let's put these numbers into action and see what they would look like. All right, so 25%. Now, to be fair, we would have to kind of, assume, obviously, where price would be around that time. I do think that price is going to be more or less in this range between, 66 on the upside versus about 61, 60-ish to the downside. I don't think that Bitcoin's going to be running too much from here. So it's just kind of market to the middle. And 25% up would obviously put Bitcoin on new all-time highs. I actually went to a crypto fight night last night just as a viewer, and I was up later than I've ever been in the past 5 months since my last fight, which was the latest I've been up in probably years. I go to bed at fucking 9 p.m. because that's how I like it. Anyway, 25% up would put Bitcoin in the low $80,000 territory. And 12% to the downside would put Bitcoin at about $58,000. Again, depending upon where we kind of take this, I'm just marking around like $66,000. So we'll follow up on this one as time goes onwards and forwards. But I just thought that was super interesting. Again, I'd hope to keep an open mind about this. At the end of the day, numbers are numbers. That's just, it is what it is. So fair enough. Anyways, yes. So now that we've gone through that, that was really the focus of this video. I really want to save tomorrow's video for a more maybe long-term view of the halving and kind of everything that's going on. But I suppose we can go through the usual things right here. Of course, daily HPDR bands, we are seeing a return back to that median on volatility contracting. So, essentially volatility contraction leads things back into the middle of this range. It's exactly what we're getting right now. It's exactly what we're looking for the past 2-3 days now. It's like, is Bitcoin likely to go lower below $60,000? Not in the short term. If it is going to happen, I think it happens like next week or the week after that. But for right now, Bitcoin, if we do see it trade back above yesterday's high, there's a very obvious interplay here, close above yesterday's high, which is 65,500. I would be looking for extension, very likely up somewhere around 68 to 69,000 bucks, probably closer to 69,000 bucks. That to me is the big pivot. That if you start to see Bitcoin close above, we're probably going to see the moons play out, and you're probably going to see a nice rally up, I suppose, in the next 14 to 15 days from that time, from Tuesday to low 80s. I mean, again, that is an average. There's going to be some variance in there, but probably on new highs. So could that be the catalyst? I mean, I suppose yes. In this case, this is a setup right here to at least test, the middle of the range, which obviously, can lead to more. As far as everything else goes, the weekly is bouncing perfectly off the low side of the 38.2 level. If Bitcoin were to close back above the median right here, that'd be a very obvious signal for Bitcoin to head. Whoa. Oh, fuck. I just realized okay. So if Bitcoin were to reclaim the median, which right now is 68,500, on the weekly time frame, and this will be at the end of this week, so probably not going to happen this week, but maybe next week. The top side of the 30 at 2 level is actually directly in alignment with about a 25% move to the upside from the middle of this current range, $82,000. Weird how that works. Fuck, man. Is it the moons or is it the HPDR? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. That's the question of the day. But yeah, until then, I don't think Bitcoin's going to be, it actually is looking a lot less likely that Bitcoin does go lower in the short term. Very similar setup here on the HPDR as we went over yesterday to what we saw back on over here in the January correction. Even in terms of oscillators, we do see the HPDRO right around the 0 reads, slightly below. We do see the HPRV is going into a contraction phase right here as it was over here. Interesting how that works out and bouncing off the bottom side of the range as of right now, so anyways, daily stochastic momentum looks like it might have a chance to actually turn up today if Bitcoin does close above 63,200. I wouldn't put too much faith in it as of right now, just because weekend action is typically quite weak, to use a bad alliteration there, but I'd probably be looking for Bitcoin to kind of trade sideways over the weekend. Next week is when things really do begin. Higher probability of upside move, and by the way, that also goes in conjunction with all of the other daily setups that we've spoke about. I mean, this was like now about 2 to 3 weeks ago. Those are still active. I just haven't covered them in a while, but they're still active. And as time goes onwards and forwards, if I recall correctly, those get favored more into the upside as well. So yeah, I think that's a good place to maybe leaving off on today's video. A bit of a different one. Let me know if you like videos like this. Probably should have said, if you find this content valuable, please consider liking and subscribing. Of course, you can get this tool over here, the Krown Quant automation tools, in the link in the description below. Yeah, you can set up your own little moon bot. You can test the moons, and then you can set up your own little moon slave, figuring out when to fucking buy those moons and sell those moons. But yeah. That's going to do it for today. As always, I want to wish you the best. Take care. Much love. And fuck you. And see you tomorrow.